Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well today. I see us up there now, my friend Joe. The show before the show. We're starting late, the show before the show, so we're just trying to get people in. It's Pro Joe's fault as usual.
It's always his fault.
He tried to say that he had to use his other hand today because he actually had to have some like allegedly serious checkup yesterday. We're joking with Pro Joe. We're glad that his health is good. It's Friday, and we can't wait for our show. Did you want to say something, buddy?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's like, it was something that I thought was serious, but it's like going in and getting your oil changed.
But it affected your other hand.
It did.
So now you have to,
now I'm left-handed for at least a couple of days.
Good morning, Tammy and Angie and Sherry and Lizzie. Appreciate you guys jumping in. A little bit of the show before the show today. Happy Friday. Hope everybody has a good week. We'll continue to put it out there. But on Monday, we're going to do an AI show. So that's a taped one. And we decided that so we won't be here live on Monday. So spread the word. We will be back on Tuesday. I can't wait for that segment. We're going to have a cardiologist in studio to answer any of the questions that you need. Joe laughs.
I need a consultation with him.
Cardiology corner. Who knows? Maybe we'll call it that. But Dr. Gil Varghese, he's a highly respected cardiologist in the St. Louis area. He's going to be on Tuesday morning. So if you have any questions, we'll do that. Got a lot of questions for those cardiologists these days regarding everything that's happened over the last 3 years, myocarditis and other things, so to speak. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. So we will do that. Also, we've got coming up at 9:00 and we're going to give most of the hour to Brittany Buckwalter. She is the Uncensored Medium, the small town medium. She is going to join us today in studio. We'll have that interview for you. Plus, at 8:30, coming up in about 30 minutes, we're going to talk with Dr. William Mahoney. He wrote an article on the Missouri Miracle, the incorrupted body of Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster in Missouri. Her body was exhumed. They were going to move it to a different spot. And when they did, 4 years later, her body is incorrupted. It looks exactly the same. The story's going worldwide right now. It's in our backyard, and it makes perfect sense for our Friday free-for-all, paranormal, conspiracy theory, anything goes Friday. We got a lot to get to. Like, subscribe, share the show. We'll get it started right now. Hey guys, welcome to Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tap of the Hassle. Lizzie Sparks alongside. I really don't know if Eric's showing up today or not. It's part of the intrigue of the show.
No.
He was sick.
Eric doesn't communicate with us.
No, he was really sick. He did communicate with me.
He doesn't communicate with us.
I spoke to Eric
Stop
yesterday.
lying.
No. Eric was at about a C-.
Poor thing.
Up from an F. That was last night at about 5:00.
I hope he feels better.
He even missed band practice.
All kidding
apparently.
aside, I hope he feels better.
So I told him, I said, don't worry about coming in if you don't. We don't need to get sick. We don't need anybody else there.
No, we don't want that,
I
Eric.
said, we've got a guest for the entire 9:00 hour. The last time we had a medium on, it was very popular. You guys will really, 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 really like Brittany Buckwalter. She's traveling the country. Good luck if you're into that kind of stuff, getting a reading with her. She's booked for a long time.
I loved having Brittany in.
No,
she seems like such a sweet person on top of everything else.
So we'll have that going on during the 9:00 hour. Coming up at 8:30, Dr. William Mahoney talking about the Missouri Miracle. Another great story for a Friday. That's for sure. So we welcome you in. Like, subscribe, share the show. If you want to donate to the show, we appreciate it. You help us continue to go on. If you know advertisers, if you know people that want to get involved with us, heck, we're looking for somebody to sponsor the studio. You can put your name on our studio.
Exactly.
The naming rights.
That would be awesome. Could you
Starting
imagine
at
the name
$1
and
million.
lights?
Just like we have the Carroll House Lounge.
Yes.
It could be the XXX Your Business. Cancel this studio.
So we appreciate everybody jumping in today. We will get into some news headlines. I thought it was interesting because anyway, I didn't. You knew this was coming down the pipeline, and we start today with the Tabs take because the founder of the Oath Keeper sentenced to 18 years for his role in January 6th, and we all know what January 6th was. It was a charade. It was planned. It was put together, and it's unfortunate that there were people who were not smart enough to stay away, and now they got themselves in trouble.
Well, we will disagree with that for sure, because we should have all been there. They should have all been there. I wish to God every day that I would have been there.
They should not have been in the Capitol.
You know what? They opened the gates.
Don't say that, my
They
friend.
opened the gates. And for some of these people, Vic, they opened the gates. We see this in a lot of the video that's been released. They opened the gates. They opened the door. Those doors are magnetic. These people did not force their way in. They opened the doors. Anyway, we had Stuart Rhodes. I am so horrified by this.
Me too.
I'm so upset about this. Stuart Rhodes.
Me too.
Stuart Rhodes, 18 years, founder, leader of Oath Keepers. A hero, quite honestly.
Yes.
Because look at what all he and the Oath Keepers did during all of the riots across this country. Riots.
Yes.
Remember what riots are?
I do. I
the
absolutely
riots
do.
in which people, over
Now
50
you're
people
talking.
died.
Now
Over
you're
50
talking.
people died in riots.
Correct.
Thousands of businesses burned down. Millions of people lost money when their businesses burned
they
down.
sure did.
Or I should say lots
Absolutely.
of people lost millions of dollars. Anyway, over $500 billion in the end throughout these riots since 2012 have been lost. It makes me sick. And here we have Stuart Rhodes, 18 years. His second Oath Keeper member, Kelly Meggs, she was the leader of the Florida contingent, 12 years.
I can't. It actually wants to
12
make me
years.
cry. Because Tab, if you and I were there, we would be in jail because we would have gone in. Because if a police officer had told
If they
us,
open the door and
yes.
say, come on in, and we saw the video, these people were not violent. Yes, there were a couple people that were violent, and there were people there who did things they shouldn't have done.
and they should be in trouble. They should.
But Stuart Rhodes and his part in what happened on January 6th was them planning a peaceful protest.
Yes.
They planned a peaceful protest that was 99% peaceful.
Yes.
99% peaceful. And he gets charged with seditious conspiracy, as did Kelly Meggs. Seditious conspiracy. We haven't used that charge against someone since the 1800s. Can you believe this?
It's not right. It's absolutely
and this
not right.
could have been any of us.
It sure could have been.
And here we have the Democrat regime staging a coup, and that's what it was. It was a coup.
Absolutely.
When you falsify elections and you do the things that they did to make sure their regime stays in power, that's called
Did we
a coup.
have proof of falsification of elections?
Absolutely so.
Okay. What proof?
Well, we
Because
have several counties that were, when they did the forensic audits, that were overturned.
Not several.
There were several. Go back and look. There were several.
Or several.
And almost every county, they went back and did a
not where it
audit.
makes
They
a
were
difference,
overturned.
though. That's what stinks.
Because it'll never make a difference, Vic.
That's what the
it will
problem
never
is.
make a difference.
There's
because,
no doubt in my mind there is major issues.
and we
with
saw
voting.
2,000 mules. At least most of us, I think,
Yes.
did.
Yes,
And
but
I mean, we know this was a coup. It wasn't just cheating. It was a coup to get a regime, which is the People's Party, out of the White House so they could usher back in the Democrat regime, which has ruled since JFK.
Absolutely.
And this goes to show that we in America, we are no different than any other country, that when you stand up and you fight for your country, and by fighting, I mean going into Washington, D.C., singing Kumbaya songs,
not going into a
underneath
Capitol.
the flag when the doors were open for them. The people, if you
Here's the problem.
No
Not
one
all the
broke
doors.
in.
Not all the doors were open. We have video. We have video of doors being opened. Yes, as we focused on this show before anybody else in the world with the shaman. There's a reason the shaman was released from prison early. Because
Exactly.
there is video that proves he was walked around by Capitol Police.
But the Capitol Police is who let most people in.
They absolutely did.
The problem is he did do some time. And the other problem is you can't, if you quote are going to say, well, they told me I could come in. No, that doesn't, I hate what's going on with January 6th. And we've talked about this a million times. But the bottom line is you can't go in if it's wrong. And if somebody says, hey, come in, and we don't have any video of them saying, come in.
But there is video of them. No, there is video of them.
I thought we had video of them opening the doors.
There are videos of them opening the doors. There are videos of them opening the gates and waving them
and telling them to come in.
We have photos.
What do you really think is going to happen?
We have photos of Capitol Police officers taking photos of them.
We do have that.
Because there's a lot of people out there who aren't all that
We just got to be, I'm sorry, you got to be smart.
And they think they have the right to go in. I don't think they did it.
You just said the people from January 6th were not that intelligent to not go in.
I didn't say that.
Yes,
I
you
said
just
that
did.
there's a lot of people who get the mob mentality. They see other people going in.
That's why
and they're not going to sit there
mentality.
and think, well, I can't go in.
I agree with you. I agree with you saying that people are unintelligent and they don't know that they can't go in and they get the mob mentality.
And it's not because they're stupid people by any means. Some of these were very intelligent people. But it's that
I believe this was planned, Tabitha. It was bad.
Of course it was planned.
But you've got
We saw Antifa there. We know there were bad actors there. But
I knew it was bad when I saw people going in. I was like, did I think it would be 18 years bad? Hell no.
No. No. And the guy that put his feet up on the desk of Nancy Pelosi, he got 4 years. But here's what I want to read to you guys. This is the statement from Judge Maida, who sentenced Rhodes and who sentenced Meggs. And this is really crazy to me. He says, what we absolutely cannot have is a group of citizens who, because they did not like the outcome of an election, who did not believe the law was followed as it should foment revolution. So this was from District Judge Amit Mehta. And this is before he handed down the sentence to Rhodes. He said, I dare say, Mr. Rhodes, and I never have said this to anyone, I have sentenced you. Sorry, I'm not reading this right because it's not making sense. He said, and I never have said this to anyone. I have sentenced you pose an ongoing threat and peril to our democracy and the fabric of this country.
That is BS.
He said, I dare say we all now hold our collective breaths when an election is approaching. Will we have another January 6th again? That remains to be seen. Well, no, you know what? He's basically telling us, the people, that, hey, if you follow in this guy's footsteps, if you go to Washington, D.C., if you protest, even if you're being peaceful, you will still be held for seditious conspiracy. You could spend the rest of your life in prison.
What? For peace? For peaceful?
Actions? Now, what
are you talking about peaceful?
This was a peaceful protest.
When it was outside. When it was outside.
99% of the
Tabitha,
people
when it
on
was
January
outside,
6th were peaceful.
Yeah, when it
even
was outside,
inside, even when they were inside, it was peaceful. We see the video. We have Capitol Police officers walking these people around.
Tabitha, if you break a law,
peaceful.
I'm just telling you, if you break a law,
that's right. We'll agree to disagree.
Let me finish. When you go into a place illegally, you can walk around illegally, quote, peacefully, but when you break the law, the peace ends. That's simple. That's simple law.
No, that's called double-edged sword. Because
we don't agree with it, and it's wrong. And yes, there's a double standard with other Democrat people who were in the show. I mean, Stephen Colbert was brought up on our chat line. I get it.
Most people didn't know that day that they could not
enter.
And when they did go in, they were peaceful.
And let it be exactly.
And how many people went in?
And it has to be a lesson moving forward. You cannot get set up and do things. You cannot get set up.
Yeah, it boils down to their political party. I mean, like what you're saying.
It's a double-edged sword because you know what? You can go out right now and go burn the 7-Eleven down in St. Louis City
and get nothing.
You can go to Minneapolis and burn the entire town down and kill 50
Now, that's
people.
not true. If you burn it down at night while riots are going on and nobody knows in the cover of darkness who did it, then you get away with it.
I know, because it's so funny how the FBI, they can identify everybody through facial recognition on January 6th. But all these riots all across the country where people vandalized and shot people, they have no idea who those people were.
I agree with 90%
They have no
of
idea who those people were.
And you can never take January 6th and what is being done even remotely serious until Ray Epps is found.
Exactly. And that's exactly right, Vic.
That's exactly right.
But I just don't feel as if we should always give a free pass to everybody who went into the Capitol. I'm sorry. I know we agree to disagree.
And I will disagree. And we will always disagree on that fact because, if somebody was violent, if you're fighting with police officers, if you're being violent and you're inside the Capitol building, you forced your way in, you were breaking glass, then yes, you should absolutely be charged. No question about it. Because we know as conservatives, as humans, you don't do that. But when you see the video of people in January 6th, and they were in the Capitol building.
Mhm.
For the longest time, they were actually walking in a straight line down the carpet between the ropes. And at
Yeah.
some point, the Capitol Police removed the ropes and people were wandering around.
We didn't see craziness inside the
There
Capitol.
was no,
Not inside.
there was no
on video.
vandalism.
Right.
Some
None.
of these people were sitting on the floor and the Capitol Police came in
Well,
and said, "Are you
technically-
okay?"
Well, technically, they can call vandalism sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office with your feet on a table.
Yes.
You can call
Now
that
guy,
vandalism
he did take,
legally.
he also did take Nancy Pelosi's placard.
That is
Yes.
And so
yes.
that
That's
one I
theft.
understand. And he
I
was
do
in her
too.
private office. That I understand. You know that Nancy's Pelosi's office, that's not a public location. And so that one I understand a little bit more. But this is not seditious
No,
conspiracy.
not 18 years.
It's not
not even
seditious
close.
conspiracy. These Oath Keepers, you know how many businesses they saved during these riots? Their goal is to help people.
Well, the
to
government
help-
doesn't care.
No, of
This
course they don't
administration
care.
doesn't care. We already
They're
know.
veterans. Oath Keepers are veterans and police officers, firemen. They are us. It makes me sick because all of this is aimed at us. They're telling us. However, the next election turns out, whether we cheat or not, you better not do anything about it, Vic, because if you do, guess what? You're going to go to prison for
Not
18
cheating.
years.
No, not
It's a threat.
not
It's an absolute
cheating.
threat.
No, you're adding a little bit. to
I'm
it.
not adding. I don't even think the Oath Keepers guy even went into the Capitol building. They were upset with him because he planned. He was part
He
of the
planned it.
planning.
Right. He wasn't
of
even in there, from
it-
what I understand.
99 over 1 million people were there that day.
It was a beautiful sight.
How many went into the Capitol building? Very few. Very few. Probably
Correct.
less
Not
than
many.
100.
I would imagine.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
And I have
And
so
we
many
do have-
friends that
I-
were there.
I am so mad about this. I couldn't even hardly read the judge's statement.
Mhm.
I was looking at
This
it on
is
my
the
way.
problem.
Ugh, so
People will
upsetting.
try to set you up in life.
That's true.
And if you take the bait, you'll pay a price. And it can happen. And then
As you
le-
know.
and then you learn, and then you learn, and then you have to move on. That's why I don't have lots of empathy for people who go into places and you should know. You just don't walk into the Capitol. I'm sorry. Even come in. Yeah, you guys were throwing a big party outside. Come on into our United States Capitol.
I know.
I
And
mean,
know
maybe
you're
it's just
right.
common knowledge for me, and it's not common knowledge for other people. But that is such a big no.
I know you're right when it comes to that. It was definitely a setup. We
Yes.
know it was a setup. We know they lured those people in. They withheld the video for what, 2 years, 3 years? I mean, because they don't want us to see what really happened in there and how peaceful it was.
Right. And the longer they hold the video,
And
the
some of
better.
us saw it, before
Yes,
they
we
took
did.
it off the platforms. But Vic, you know what? We, at the same time, as much as I agree with you that they were set up and that when those people went in, it was a huge mistake because it was a setup. At the same time, we can't let that hold us back because
No.
that's what they want.
I'm not saying that.
I don't want people to think, well, if we're cheated out of the next election, if another coup takes place, we can't go to Washington, D.C. and peacefully protest. Because if you do, you're going to get on a watch list or you're going to be arrested. We have to do what we have to do to save our country.
So we'll see if he actually has to go to jail for 18
I'm like
years.
shaking.
I
I don't know if you
see.
can tell. 'cause
I
I'm
don't
so
see
mad.
any way possible that he spends 18 years in prison.
Well,
And-
it gets usually you spend what, a
About
little bit
half.
less than half.
Yes.
But still.
Well, and long enough that they forget, that people around here forget what they've done to the American people. They're just going to let time go by so that people go, oh, it's no big deal.
But if with him not being in the Capitol, I still don't know what he did wrong. I'm sorry.
He was the
leader.
planner. He was
Yeah.
one of the planners.
But he
one
didn't,
of many.
But he didn't plan for people
He did not plan for
to
people.
go inside the
Absolutely not.
Capitol. That's my issue.
Absolutely not.
My issue is the fact that he didn't. What did he do illegally? I need to see where that can be proven
He is a hero, is what
that
he is.
he did something wrong. That's where I'm kind of in and out of the conversation. I agree with some, don't agree with other. This guy should not have a prison sentence of a day for planning a rally outside, not inside of a
You
Capitol.
can't, as a planner of a peaceful protest, you cannot. Well, let's look at it this way. I'm not going to say you can't. Should that person be held responsible? So should we look at all the churches that planned the protest that ended up being violent?
Right.
Mhm.
Why aren't they being charged with seditious conspiracy, or why aren't they being charged with homicide? Remember whenever we had that group of folks that took over, Antifa folks that took over that area in Seattle?
Oh, yes.
The Chaz
For
zone or
months and
something like
months.
that.
Yes.
2 people were killed in there. No one has ever been arrested. No one. No one has ever spent a day in jail over the taking over of that.
Yeah,
over
but those weren't
burning down
yeah.
the police department. Why? Because they're
not an apples to
conservatives.
no, I agree with you, but that's not an apples to apples comparison.
It's not, but it's just it shows the double-edged sword that goes on in this country. The double standards that happen in this country, where if you're a conservative, you're going to go to prison for stepping in the wrong direction.
Well, people should be pissed off that guy got that kind of a sentence. We'll see where it goes.
I know, and it's one of those, I try not to get emotional about different things because then I'm shaking and I can't talk or read and I can't get my thoughts together. But this is one of those moments.
This is one of those moments. I love it. For sure.
Where
I
it
just
is
looked down.
Not right.
Aaron said Fox 2's Vic Faust showed up this morning.
He's here sometimes, Aaron. Sometimes. Deep down, he's not in there. But
awesome.
Well, and it was planned. I had my plane tickets with a friend.
Don't worry, Todd. The median's coming in at 9:00.
But I'm as mad as you. I had my plane tickets to go that day. I was going to go get a phone call from a friend that worked in Homeland Security. And he told me, if you go, you will be arrested because of what you are and how loud you are about it, because they're setting them up. They're putting fences up. So he told me ahead of time, this is what was going to happen. It was like less than 10 minutes before I was supposed to get on the flight. And so, yes, it was a setup. I agree with you, Vic, that, people who shouldn't have been in the Capitol went in. But in the same token, I'm more with you, Tabitha, because that could have been me. That could have been you.
I almost went. As a matter of fact, we had all talked about going.
We have hammered this subject.
I know.
We have.
We have hammered it.
I mean, this is just the latest, and that's what happened.
It is. And it's just upsetting because this goes into the next election, right, Vic?
Well,
2024 coming up.
Don't go into the Capitol. Lesson learned. End of story.
And we already know.
Stay outside.
I'm assuming you read Mayorkas's latest warning from Homeland Security.
Yeah, I mean.
Yes.
That now they're warning that there could be attacks and violence ahead of the 2024 election. I mean, and that's aimed at us. Who do we ever attack?
Well, it's aimed at. I'll leave it there. Yes, just us. There you go. Us.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Hey, this is cancelthisshow.com. By the way, I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Lizzie Sparks, Projo's in the house. If, and I love this, okay, Ron DeSantis is getting a little bit more crafty. And his team's getting a little bit more crafty regarding this whole situation, regarding the Oath Keeper and January 6th and Donald Trump's alleged role in that and other issues. How about Ron DeSantis? What does he say? This is so clever to me. He says, listen, I'll pardon Trump. I'll pardon Trump, and I'll also take care of the other people who've been victimized by weaponization if I'm president. I mean, if that's not a stick ya to Donald Trump without saying something nasty, he's like, listen, if I'm president, I'll take care of all of Donald's problems. I'll take care of the people. It was a great quote. I'll take care of those people. Like your Oath Keeper hero.
And he specifically mentioned him as well.
I like that.
And I was like, damn, that's pretty good. And then what else does DeSantis come out and say yesterday? Quote, I think a lot of what he's doing is showing everyone that he understands. This is DeSantis talking about Trump. I think a lot of what he is doing is showing everyone that he understands that I've got a good chance to beat him because he doesn't criticize anybody else now. He only criticizes me. Ron DeSantis firing shots back. And what I still say, he's not taking shots below the belt, but he's bringing up and using what Donald has done and said about him. Hey, he's down on the mat. DeSantis is sitting on the mat, but I'm telling you, here it comes. DeSantis is a military man. He's not going to sit back and take it forever.
He's a strong man.
Ding, ding,
no
ding.
question about it.
Let's get it on.
But I don't want to see that.
Nobody wants to see it, but
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Trump attack DeSantis.
It's life.
I don't want to see DeSantis attack Trump. I don't want to see this happen. They are both on the same side, aren't they? Or maybe are they not?
To be.
Where's
or
Miles?
Maybe are they
Mills
not?
Lane. Let's get it on. He was my fight referee in the middle. It's on, baby. It is on. And Ron DeSantis, in my humble opinion, couldn't have come up with better quotes in the same day than what he did yesterday. And this comes on the heels of the caucus, the Iowa caucus percentages had Trump over 60%, DeSantis down like low 20, like 20. And then everybody else scurrying for the little leftovers off the main table for the, give me some of that, give me some of that. I want to get my name known. I shouldn't be running for president, but I want to get my name known. Boom, boom, boom. The heavyweight UFC title fight has begun, and it's going to be a 2-year battle. We all believe that it's Donald Trump's for the taking. Easy, easy, easy. But this is not, I repeat, not going to be some pretty tied up with a bow. Oh, I'll pat you on the back and everything else. It's going to be a bloodbath. Boom. Let's get it on. And that's what DeSantis did yesterday. He announced to the country, listen, I'm not going to sit back and take everything, but I'm going to fight in a different manner than what Donald Trump is. And that's the only way he can fight, are little shots like that. Interesting stuff coming from Ron DeSantis for sure. Pam says, good morning from Ohio. We appreciate everybody jumping in for cancelthisshow.com. So Carlene says, well, just look at who's supporting him. It's the warmongers. And you're 100% right. No doubt about that. Paul says Trump will be indicted twice before the primaries. That's their strategy. Keep it fresh in everyone's mind that the guy that they want to vote for is corrupt. Yeah, we all know this is going to happen. This is why the left has kept these, quote, fake charges, these trumped up charges going, because they don't want him in office, which is why you should think maybe he's the exact guy we want in office, because no politician in the history of this country has endured more than Donald Trump. Not even allowed one day on the job before the press started attacking. Why? Well, that's because, as he said, I'm standing in between them coming at you. He's like, they're not coming at me, they're coming at you, and I'm standing right in between. Donald Trump's ready for the fight, but as we've said, we've told our Democratic listeners on the show before, well, of course, don't be dumb, don't be naive, don't be silly and stupid and any other word you can be. You know, this goes all the way back to the Russian hoax, but you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the lies. You only want to talk about the new lies, the new allegations, the new brags, and everybody else going at it. Because guess what? The whole Bragg situation, Bragg's another Schiff. He's exactly another Schiff. Let's trump up something. Let's make something up. Let's create a problem. Let's create some fire and throw it at Donald because he can't handle it. And that's what's going to happen. And we're right there. By the way, we've got our guest, Dr. William Mahoney, coming up here in about 4 or 5 minutes. But before we do that, because it is a Friday, Joe, can we go through some of the fun facts of a Friday? Because it is a free-for-all. Paranormal Friday. Also, by the way, Target has now lost $9 billion. I want to get that update out there. $9 billion since April 30th. And don't look now, but guess what? Where there was smoke, there was fire. Guess what Target was doing? Oh, yeah, Target had joined organizations to do things quietly in schools. Remember how we talked about kids not having to tell their parents about getting information regarding, quote, sex changes and gender reassignment surgery and blockers and getting the education for it? Yeah, well, guess what? GLSEN leads this movement in creating the affirming and anti-racist, quote, spaces for LGBTQIA plus students. And they said they were proud of it. Well, guess who they're sponsored by? Target. Target.
Wow.
We continue to support their mission, the Target Corporation. That's what they said about GLSEN in the midst of everything. Guess what? $9 billion and counting. Target making things worse for themselves, not learning from Bud Light, which is very, very scary. It's almost as if they don't care if they lose the money. They're defiant in their mission to let kids get all up in transgender issues over and over and over again. Jerry says Target lost $9 billion, Vic, plus their stock has dropped 32%. If you're not for kids learning all about transgender and thinking that it's some sort of positive thing to have gender reassignment surgery as an 18-year-old and younger, don't shop at Target. Say enough is enough. Look what Bud Light's doing. Bud Light has been massively destroyed over this whole situation, to the fact that they are buying beer back from wholesalers and giving their beer away free, which now people won't even drink. Just remember that. That's what has happened. This is cancelthisshow.com. You know what we do on Friday. We have our free-for-all, Paranormal Friday. We continue to bring you all the updates, all the shows that we can. Tabitha's into the mediums. I'm not. Lizzie's kind of in the middle. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say. I've not.
She's coming up at 9:00.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
Anyway. But we try to do things fair and we give everybody a voice. With that being said, by the way, Kimberly says, guys, Bud Light down $15 billion as of this morning.
Isn't
it?
It
is. I knew
woke,
that the
broke.
conservatives were going to fight with their money, but I really didn't realize it was going to be this bad.
Conservatives, you have a voice, you have action, you have power in your action. Silent majority is what Tabitha calls it. Eric calls it the sleeping giant. Also, what's interesting too, gosh, there was another fact of this before we get to Dr. William Mahoney about this Missouri miracle, the incorrupted body of basically, I'll call her a saint. She should be a saint by now. After this, we'll see where it goes. Chip and Joanna Gaines, who we know, major partners with Target and supposedly Christian, as we know. Their silence is deafening. I could not agree with you anymore. There are those times in life where money comes in between you and your faith, and then all of a sudden, you're going to have to decide who you are. Chip and Joanna Gaines, you are on the clock and have been on the clock. Well said. Great point, Aaron Bland, for bringing that up. Okay. This is cancelthisshow.com. Please like, subscribe, share the show. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. Lizzie Sparks running the chat line on at least 3 platforms. Pro Joe making us look and sound as good as we can from an engineering standpoint. Eric is sick today. He needs to rest up anyway. He's got 4 days at Lake of the Ozarks, and they have no shows without Eric.
That's right.
So that's why I told Eric, stay at home.
That's
all is good in this situation. Okay, we have a story out of Missouri starting to make national and world headlines. And to talk more about this story, we bring in Dr. William Mahoney, who wrote a story about this. We're talking about Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster, and she was buried 4 years ago. And the women there were wanting to move her body. So they were moving it to a different place. Well, when they dug her up to have this body moved, there sat her body looking exactly like it did 4 years ago. This has to be a miracle, right, Dr. Mahoney?
I mean, I don't know any other way to see it. What's so amazing about this is she wasn't embalmed, and she was put in just a very simple wooden coffin in her habit. And she was buried for, like you said, for 4 years. And they were digging her up. They exhumed her body so they could put it in a new altar. They're building a St. Joseph altar. And when they dug her up, she's incorrupt. And the habit she was wearing. So the lining of the coffin around it was completely rotten, deteriorated, but her habit was in perfect condition, her face and everything. So, I mean, that doesn't normally happen. Skeletization usually happens within 3 weeks to 3 years, especially under those conditions where you're not embalmed. And, Missouri summers as well during the warm season, in a very simple coffin. I don't know how else to understand it, but being miraculous.
We're showing pictures of Sister Wilhelmina right now, this African-American sister who just is... it's a remarkable story, and we need these. And I'm so grateful that God gave us this. It gave me chills when I first saw the story. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have people that get all caught up in paranormal stuff and, oh, there's spirits out there. And, oh my God, there's nothing more obvious than this right here. That's right in front of your eyes. That is a true miracle, not one that you're guessing about. And, oh, well, I think it's this and I think it's that. But sitting right in front of your eyes. Do you think that she'll become a saint?
Well, I mean, technically, I would imagine she already is a saint. If she'll become a canonized saint. Yeah, I mean, I think there will definitely be a process launched. I know that the former bishop, one of the bishop emeritus is there, has already visited. I know Bishop Athanasius Schneider has visited already. So the word's going to spread, and I'm sure a cause will be opened for her. Whether or not the current Vatican will move forward and canonize her, or first beatify her and then canonize her, that's anybody's guess. I mean, I think they should. I think they should look very hard into it, and I hope she does, but we'll see.
One of the best things that I think that this offers is um, in science, and I'm a big believer in science,
Sure.
and science backs faith, which is amazing, and it backs the whole story that we have. Guess what? This would be so easily proven to be fake or to be proven that it's not real if it were. And there are no detractors because it's true. Everyday Americans, we look for miracles every day. We look for things. We look for signs of God. And here we have one sitting right before us. I'm kind of amazed. And I know our society, for a large part, has turned its back on God, but um, I'm amazed that it's not even getting larger attention at this point in time.
I think it's not in the best interest of the Marxist media, mainstream media, to cover something like this because it sort of destroys their narrative. So I can see why big media outlets might not be very quick to pick it up. But hopefully, if enough noise is made from the smaller media outlets picking this up, they won't have a choice but to face it. So and then they'll have to talk about it, and that would be awesome.
Can you explain again? I just looked at one of our comments.
Yeah.
She said, "Why did they open the coffin? That's rude." It was because they were moving her body to a new
Yeah.
location. Could you explain that, please?
That's a common thing to do. It's called translation of something, a translation of a body. That's a very common thing to do in the early church when Constantine passed the Edict of Milan in 313, and then Catholicism finally became the preferred religion of the empire. It was very common when they were building churches to exhume bodies and translate them from, especially the catacombs, a lot of the martyrs there, and put them in churches. It's very common to put them in altars. I lived in Rome. I studied in Rome, so I've seen many, many, many body skeletons of early martyrs in altars and side altars with glass displays, and so on. So the church has always had relics. There's a first class relics, second class relics, third class relics. The first class being the body itself, second class being something that the person wore, like clothes, and a third class relic being something you touch to the body. So if you have a scapular, for example, and you touch it to a saint's body, that becomes a third class relic, which is actually what's going on now with Sister Wilhelmina, because they have her on display, and the note there says, don't touch her, don't disturb anything, but feel free to touch objects to her. So that's to make third class relics.
I think it's fascinating. Whenever we have these incorruptibles, obviously being saints, and they take them from city to city, and they kind of go on a little bit of a tour, and it's an honor to be involved in that procession at all. And it's so interesting to me. And this is the first African American incorruptible. Is that correct?
Yes, as far as I know, that's correct.
I was wondering if national media didn't cover that as well. I didn't know, and I'm not looking for an issue, and I'm not looking for a problem, but I thought that it brought even more, or should have brought more attention, and continue to bring more attention, because you have a Catholic African-American sister who wanted to do this from the time that she was 13 years old, even wrote letters about seeing Jesus and wanting to be close and be his bride, so to speak, in this manner. I mean, I can't think of a more beautiful, sweet story than this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's true. I mean, you have this African American woman from a young age. She's just always wanted to do this, and then she started this thing. She loved the traditional Latin Mass, so she was with one order, and then started this new order to do the traditional Latin Mass under the auspices of the priestly fraternity of St. Peter. So she loves Catholic tradition. I mean, it's just, the story has so much to it.
She's from St. Louis, and our show, she born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, in our backyard, which even brought more attention, or should be bringing more attention.
Yes.
Yet, guess what? Not one local TV news network has done a story on this. And I found one very, very inept story done by a Kansas City station. Yet this miracle, this true miracle, not a guesstimation of a miracle, or I think it's this, or I have feelings about that, but a true miracle sitting right in front of you, and there's non-coverage of it, as we've talked about, and you already explained why. Can you give a background of other, if you, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this,
That's
of
okay.
other incorrupt bodies that have been found in recent times, if you had that knowledge outside of Sister Wilhelmina?
The most recent I know of is let's see, would be Bernadette of Lourdes is the most recent. So we're talking about mid to later 1800s. She's in, I believe, in Nivelles in France. I've not seen her in person. I've only seen pictures, but I have had friends who have visited her. And one of my friends, Michael, he said she literally looked like she was sleeping. That's
My
what he said.
my stepfather it's amazing to me, but he was given the honor of carrying Sister Bernadette when she came through the St. Louis area.
Oh, wow.
He
That's
was
awesome.
one of the people that was able to carry her
That's neat.
glass coffin as she moved around from area to
That is a
area.
great story.
It was.
What
That's
about taking from this story, speaking with Dr. William Mahoney, what do you think people should take from this? And we're looking at the pictures now. We'll show those pictures again of this woman, because there's really, when you actually break this stuff down, you really can't come up with ways of why somebody looks like this, and it's not happening to anybody anywhere except this woman. And you already brought the other one back to Lourdes. I mean, this is fascinating, overwhelming evidence.
I think the biggest takeaway is one, it's a confirmation of what you believe. And if you don't believe, you should be thinking very strongly about believing because of a confirmation like this to believers. That's number one. And number two, I think the most important thing to take away from it is, on the one hand, to honor this woman, but more importantly, see how much you can imitate her. Her biggest devotion was to the rosary. She's called Sister Wilhelmina of the Most Holy Rosary. So
Amen.
I think the biggest takeaway is do what she did. I mean, the point of raising up a saint is to give us a role model so that we can have someone to imitate. How this person, like St. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. She followed Christ, so she's a great example of how to follow Christ.
Well, it gives me chills talking about that. And I think it also puts it in perspective. This doesn't happen every day. This doesn't happen every 5 years, 10 years, this 100 years. No, I'm just, it's a remarkable feat. I was so happy to see this come through. And if anything, it's a sign of what is possible, what is there. And of course, this woman, because when you go back and look at who she was and how she was and where she grew up, and her devotion to Jesus from an early age, African American woman in the city of St. Louis, all about her Catholic faith. And there she sits, incorrupted, and could be canonized, as you just talked about as well, which is just remarkable and certainly fits what we tried to do on Fridays. Any other things you want to let our audience and viewers know while we're here?
No, just I think the biggest thing is look into her and just try to imitate her as best you can, and realize that even here in America we can become saints. So no matter how bad the culture is and everything's falling apart around us, you can still follow God, and you can still become a saint, and he can clearly work miracles, as this shows.
Dr. William Mahoney, hey bud, we appreciate your time. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thanks, Big.
We'll catch back up with you. And once again, how can people learn more about you and or check out some of your material?
Well, just go to Church Militant's website, and if you look at any one of my articles like this one on Sister, our names are clickable, so you can click on the link to my name, and it'll show you all the stories I've done. You can watch the download. I'm on that a couple times a week, and just other stuff Church Militant puts out.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can even be saints in America.
I loved how he said that. And that's
Dr.
true.
William Mahoney.
I like the name Church Militants.
I do too.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, what a just remember the media and people who support all these quote African American causes and I'm for reparations and I'm for. Where is everybody yelling and screaming about what God has done with this African-American woman? Where is the outcry for the miracles? Where is everything regarding this amazing? I mean, there's nothing more incredible that we could even talk about today than this, unless people just get so like, I'm just beat down, whatever. I don't believe in miracles. I don't believe in this anymore. I'd rather believe in stuff I can't see. And then you have something sitting right in front of you that's an actual miracle.
And that's what Dr. Mahoney's saying, that with a lot of people are hopeless right now. And he ended up saying here, even in corrupt America, there's hope and there's something good. And it shows the signs of God.
Oh, Mary Jo Williams even just said, also from another article, she had mold on her face. So they had to clean it because there was a crack.
Right. I did read that.
They even had it. And yet her body still like it was when it went into the earth 4 years ago.
Yeah, because some water had seeped in and it wasn't the best conditions. It was a very basic wooden coffin. And it is a miracle that she was found, as you say, incorrupt.
Jeannie says NAACP won't acknowledge it.
Well, of course
BLM
not.
won't acknowledge it.
We can't
City
talk
of
about
St.
religion.
Louis
Come on.
won't acknowledge it. Anybody from the city of St. Louis, politicians won't acknowledge it. It is interesting because people will show you who they are, like I said before, and they'll jump on certain things, but they won't jump on other things. Specifically, there's people on this chat line who will jump on certain things for Black race, but not when it comes to God, which is very interesting. People show you who they are again. Once again, this is cancelthisshow.com. Pro Joe's running the boards. Lizzie Sparks taking care of all of the chat lines. Tabitha Hassel is here. I'm Vic Faust. Eric Johnson is sick today. By the way, coming up on Monday, we're going to do a rerun show, our artificial intelligence AI show, which was super popular because we wanted to reset the stage because we are going to be doing a follow-up AI show. And it's something that we've talked about continuing because it's a continuing education, because if AI is advancing every second, damn, we need to be advancing and trying to follow as much as we can to keep everything going with you. We appreciate everything that you guys are joining with us. Check out all of our partners or sponsors as always. Okay. How about some fun here? Because it is a Friday. Things that are wild, things that you may not know. All right, here we go. Check out some of these things in life. Joe will pop it up. He'll go from slide to slide so that we can just remember. And it kind of goes to show you how people think about things. The doctor who discovered that the hand washing method, which preventing the spread of disease, he was thrown in a mental institution for that crazy idea.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. That is
the
crazy.
doctor who discovered the hand washing method prevented the spread of disease.
I wonder when that was.
Joe, you can keep them up until you go to the next pick, if that's all right, bud. Was thrown in a mental institution for his crazy ideas. We've all thought about things that we say. It's like, people think I'm crazy, but come on, this is clear. We've all dealt with those sorts of situations. Fantastic. Joe, next. Or unless you have something you wanted to add to that. Joe, you're not on.
It's just weird, and I have one hand, so I'm a little slow, so bear with me.
Glenn Thompson says that Fauci should have joined him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fauci, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It was probably some Fauci guy.
But we shouldn't.
Then.
Probably so, but we shouldn't use antibacterial soap on our hands.
You're right. We should not.
Because I have heard that too.
Yeah, we have to have some germs.
Yes.
We have to have some germs.
Tabitha doesn't shower or bathe. She sits up there in the mountains
pizza that's been sitting out for 5 days
with her MREs, little mud rat. This is my favorite from Facts You Didn't Know for this Friday, Paranormal Free for All Conspiracy Theory Friday. In 2013, Snapchat rejected Facebook's offer to buy the company for $3 billion. Guess what they were worth in 2021? $100 billion. You have somebody offering you $3 billion. That's got to be tough. Move ahead 8 years later. Oh, yeah. We're worth $100 billion. Anthony said that he wished he had an MRE for breakfast. Yeah. Lizzie says, and don't use hand sanitizer if you didn't know that already. Okay, next slide on this free-for-all Friday of information you may not have known as we get into some of those. And it is fascinating to find out information and we're working with a slow hand today. Here it is. I found this to be fascinating, but then again, it comes from Stephen King. He was once hit by a van, so he bought the van and destroyed it to make himself feel better.
Really?
That came straight from Stephen King.
He's an odd.
I kind
dude.
of he is, and he lives in Florida off on Casey Key, and he
Okay.
owns half of the island. It's very interesting.
I had no
It'd be fun to
idea.
go there.
You
See
can
if
you
it looks
can't
like
see.
The Shining.
I've been there. You can't see his house, but
We'll
because
move
it's
on to the
literally on
next
half the
slide,
island.
Joe. That is weird. I
But
mean,
I've heard he's very nice. He visits all the local coffee shops and talks to people, and I've heard he's just the nicest person.
with
I wouldn't have
one
guessed that, huh?
with one incredible mind.
That's
That is
right.
that is for
Sure.
sure.
That's right.
Envy that mind. All right, this is a badass bird if I've ever seen one. During World War II, this carrier pigeon, its name was Cher Ami. Well, it was shot, was blinded. Of course, this was a female because women are tougher than men. We know that. Continuing to move on with the pain. Leg was shot off, as you can see, missing as well. But that carrier pigeon was still able to deliver the message that it was sent to do and allegedly saved the lives of 194 soldiers.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is
Hero.
That is the hero bird, the badass bird. Love the fact that you get some of these things that go out there. Aaron, going back to an elitist celebrity that owns an island. I've
Half
heard
of an
this
island.
one.
Half of an island. Aaron.
Half of an island. How about this? Could you ladies imagine wearing this? The world's most expensive watch,
I wouldn't want to.
a 201 carat watch worth $26 million.
Don't you think they could make it a little prettier for
Yeah, I was thinking
$26
it's ugly.
million?
Probably. Yeah.
I would take it if somebody were going
Sure,
to
they
give
could.
it.
I'm
to
looking
me.
at it right now going,
But it's
huh.
not pretty.
No.
Yeah,
But I'll take it too.
I would just never
Ah.
wear it.
Correct.
yeah. Okay, we'll move on. Yeah, that watch is hideous. I see.
Bendy's right. That
I-
watch is hideous.
It is hideous. I was like, oh my gosh, that watch is not. I mean, not so pretty. That's for sure. Bill Gates has this in his office, a cabinet containing 85 of the 118 physical elements of the periodic table. Why? I have no idea.
Because he
it's-
can.
because he can, and more things to kill us with.
Literally
it's-
because he
And it's
can.
Bill Gates. On the
Mhm.
other side of the wall is the
I
lab.
actually think that's very interesting.
It
I've
is.
never seen anything like that.
I never have either. I wouldn't personally aspire to do this, but it is pretty neat. And I'm curious why he doesn't have all 118.
Could he not get them?
Apparently not.
Yeah, I'm guessing he can.
Is he
Maybe
allergic?
that's why he was on Epstein's island. He was looking for those elements he couldn't find.
It is. Benny
Yes,
says not
that's
a
why
cool
he was
display.
there.
I thought it was a pretty damn cool display.
It is a
as
cool
well
display.
to have that in. This one, be careful. I've been trying to look this one up. A 40-year-old,
no.
a 40-year-old Las Vegas hotel cleaner allegedly stole a billionaire's used condom. She impregnated herself with it and then was able to sue and win child support.
I can guarantee you she is not the
Wow.
first woman to have thought of that.
Well, living in America.
What?
There you go.
Tabitha.
You hear all of these different celebrities saying, well, I don't know that woman. I've never met her. I mean, who knows what's going on? But you hear these weird stories like that every once in a while.
Yeah, and maybe they were lying. Maybe they
And
never
not
had
just
met him.
celebrities, but just women in general who want to trap a guy. Hey, let's figure this out ourselves, right?
Oh my
Better be
God.
careful, Vic.
No,
Better be careful, Vic.
I think I'm all right.
I'm just kidding.
I think I'm going to be just fine. But is that really how our court system works? You could do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
Because how can you prove? How can you really prove it?
How can you prove what?
It's
Well,
one
because the
person's
girl-
word against the other.
Right, because
Exactly.
the girl had, his,
hate
what,
that.
and yeah, I won't go on about that. But yes, how do you prove that? You don't.
I'm learning some things right there from some of our chat line about elements and how the air affects it. And I mean, just imagine. Could you imagine?
Turkey baster.
Oh dear God!
How about we just move on to the
Oh
next
my
slide?
God! Is that the last one?
That was the last one.
Oh my gosh!
Why do
and,
we have to end on that one?
I
And
saved
the
that one for
comments
last
from the
on
listeners
purpose.
are great. Awesome.
Oh my God. It puts things, oh my God, Jeannie called it his tadpole.
Well, think about it. There's many ways you can get the tadpoles in there. And so how can you prove that his tadpoles weren't there? It's all DNA.
Wait a second. Did you say turkey baster first or did somebody else say that?
Jerry said it. I
Oh,
just was
okay.
repeating him.
I
I
was
wish I was
wondering
that
if
Some
clever.
things you don't have to repeat, Lizzie.
Well,
No, I'm
I
kidding.
can't help myself.
I'm just teasing.
I agree with Michelle. Yes, nasty. But it is one of those things where, it was in the slides when we looked for this kind of free for all paranormal, all things go Friday that we have coming up and continuing on in our next hour. And it is interesting, and we had to set the stage for this. This medium, we got a medium coming on. We taped her yesterday, so you'll see us in different clothes. So that's why we were wanting to let you know about what's going on. And Tabitha already talked about her. Really, really cool, sweet woman. Brittany Buckwalter is her name. She's also, believe it, from Missouri and making a national name for herself.
And
So
she has a show which will be discussed during that episode.
Yep.
This
So
coming Saturday.
we're going to talk about that. I think it's a fascinating segment. I really do with this coming up. Brittany, so we're giving you that we were trying to do it as a look live, as if you wouldn't have known from our shirts anyway, but Tabitha kind of gave it up during the show yesterday anyway.
She slipped it. I saw Vic's face.
Tabitha, pay attention. You're not involved in the show.
Because she said, well,
I'm
it's going to be here tomorrow. And I look over at Vic and you cannot hide what Vic is thinking. And he's rolling his eyes, looking at her. And Tabitha's not paying any attention to him. It was really great.
She had no idea. We're trying to keep some semblance of this actually an interview on being Friday, not Saturday. She's at the St. Charles Funny Bone tomorrow, Saturday. That's real. But I think tickets are sold out. She'll have more shows coming up. But she did want you to go ahead and check Eventbrite. Her name, Brittany Buckwalter at Eventbrite. Brittany Buckwalter at Eventbrite for some of her coming up shows. It's really good stuff. Also wanted to, when we're going to go to a break, when we go to a break, we'll come back. You'll have Brittany. Like, subscribe, share the show. She covers a lot.
And to Mary Jo, yes, Brittany is from Palmyra. That is correct.
Oh, did she already know that too?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. One of my friends, when I told her that we had Brittany coming on the show, was told, "Oh, I've been trying to do a reading with her." I was like, "Go figure."
I find it all to be fascinating, despite whatever people feel about it. To me, it's fascinating.
And Brittany, so she's a Missouri girl. Very, very, very busy. And just to give you a heads up, if you're not listening or watching every part of it, she's booked for the next 6 months. Like, her schedule is booked. She's like, well, good luck getting an appointment. She's like, I'm already booked for the next 6 months. And I'm like, I don't even know how that's possible, but it is for the next 6 months. So it goes to show where, a lot of people's feelings are when it comes to the mediums. Now, she's going to break down a lot of different topics. And the unfortunate thing is, so when you're watching, we love your chat and we love the continued live chat, but we can't ask her questions during the show since we taped that yesterday. We just want to make sure that you guys understood that as we move forward with everything with that coming up. So once again, Monday, we're going to do a re-show of our artificial intelligence for Memorial Day. We're going to take a break and we come back. We'll have Brittany up. And it's about a 46 minute interview, something along that nature. I think it's a fascinating interview. Stay with us, like, subscribe, share the show, check it out. And of course, you're welcome to continue to make those comments as well. When she gets done, we'll come back on and we'll say goodbye. So check out our partners, our sponsors. We're going to take a quick break. Back with Brittany Buckwalter right after this.
Waited, and now it's here. The unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco, wait, What, no response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Hey guys, welcome back to Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. Happy Friday. We continue our paranormal free-for-all conspiracy theory Friday right now. I'm Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel here. Lizzie Sparks and Pro Joe. We are so excited to have our new friend, Miss Brittany Buckwalter. She is, and I guess you've got a couple different names, but
yeah,
I saw you as the Uncensored Medium, I'm sorry, but we also have Small Town Psychic Medium behind you as well.
Yeah, I've had several names. I think my favorite is Metal Medium. So,
how'd you get that one?
I meditate to metal before I do all my.
I love it.
Wild.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, we had a medium on months and months and months ago.
Shannon Rock.
And Shannon Rock,
Mhm.
she called herself the Weedium.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Weedium?
No, I'm not familiar with her. But your Jill let me know that there was another medium, and she had been on here before, and I thought it was super cool. Her name just blew me. That was hilarious.
Well, you guys are super, super popular when you come on. I've talked about it before. I am scared to death to even mess with this stuff because I am convinced, even if people try to say, oh, there are some of them or most of them are fake or whatever. And I'm like, I've met too many people and nobody wants to deal with what people deal with. Nobody wants to wake up and go, oh my God, I feel this way, or I'm being told this and I'm being told that. Now I got to worry about what people think about me. There is no doubt skills are there. There are gifts. There are talents that are there.
Well, thank you.
There's no doubt. I'm just not messing with it. I'm not in my Christian faith and my scripture. That's why I stay far, far away. But people want to know. And Cancel This is about letting people talk, letting people go out there, and then letting people decide whatever the heck they're going to do.
Exactly.
And Jill said that you were very popular, and we looked you up and you're super, super popular. And you have a show in St. Louis this weekend.
I do.
Tell everybody about your show.
Super stoked about that. Yeah, so it is going to be at the Funny Bone, 3 p.m. At the St. Charles Funny Bone, not the Westport one. And I'm excited about it mainly because it's an opportunity to incorporate what I've already been doing, which is comedy, with mediumship. And it's just a way to even and balance out the show because it's so emotional. It's such a it's just such a deep subject. And so to be able to add some laughter in there, I think is super awesome.
That would be an interesting show. Now, when you're doing your comedic routine, do you often connect with people? Is that part of your routine?
So no, actually there is no routine. It's just, it comes out, it's funny. It's, some of the things that have been brought up that are like just a few weeks ago, I was in Springfield and we brought through a lady's husband, and he told me the color of a certain object that she keeps in her drawer.
Oh my gosh.
To prove that it actually was real.
Wow.
And she
awkward.
The rest I know. And I kind of led into it like, can I say this? And once I said the color, her eyes went like this, and it was obvious that she knew exactly what I was talking about without saying vibrator.
But how did she
say vibrator?
But Brittany, how did she feel about knowing that connection was there?
I think at first she was a bit shocked and embarrassed, and I could see it all go through her mind. Eventually we got to closure and peace, and I mean, she was crying, but for a split second it was like, oh my God, he can see when I do that. But that's not how it works for everybody. Just so you know, spirit doesn't just hang out when you're doing the dirty or going to the bathroom. But
what about availability for tickets for tomorrow's show?
There is some availability, but Matt just messaged me, and we are almost sold out.
Wow. Good for you. That's
now,
awesome.
Do you continue to have shows in the St. Louis area?
I've had several shows.
Or across the country, for that matter. We have listeners all across the country.
Right. Yeah. No, and I do, mainly in the tri-state area. But the few places that I've done St. Louis shows have been hotels, and they just don't seem to be the right fit. And so when Funny Bone was like, heck yeah, let's do this, I was like, okay. They're really, it's real. There's somebody up there.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It would be so interesting.
Where are you from?
From Palmyra, Missouri, which is just like 12 miles west of Hannibal. But I've lived in Hannibal for 17 years. So
they have really good runners there.
Do you? Or they do?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of bad storms.
They do have a lot of bad storms, and I am not one of the runners. But
how old were you when you realized that you had a certain set of skills that you were connecting with spirits or people who have passed on?
So I was 4 when I saw my very first spirit, which is just a crazy story. But I was 4 years old, and but at age 4, you don't think, oh, I have this ability. It wasn't until, and I continued to see spirit all the way up until puberty. And then once I hit 12, 13, I stopped. It stopped. There was nothing until about, age 20. That's when my psychic ability kicked back in. And then I didn't realize I was a medium until 27. So,
wow.
Yeah, because it's such a subtle thing. And I believe that, psychics, everybody in the studio is psychic, because that was an ability that God gave us to keep us safe. It's just, your gut feeling. It keeps you from doing stupid stuff. And so that's what being psychic is. Some of us are just more in tune with that gut feeling than others. But I believe mediums are born. And like I said, it was such a subtle thing that I had been doing all my life that I didn't realize that I was actually communicating with spirit until somebody was like, dude. I actually went to a show similar to the one that I'm getting ready to have. And I was sitting in the very back, and there are 4 mediums up front. And everything that the mediums were saying, I was thinking 5 or 10 minutes before they were saying it. And maybe not exactly, but like, they would say Hawaii, and 5 minutes ago I was thinking about a pineapple. I mean, just stupid stuff. And before I realized it, by the end of the show, I was like, I was reading people on either side of me, behind me. It was just the craziest situation.
How did your family react when, obviously at some point you had to have a conversation
Yeah.
that this is happening? How did they react?
Oh, it was my dad's pretty laid back, and I'd had several jobs leading up to this. And so I think in his mind, he thought this was just going to be another one of Brittany's crazy ass brain ideas. I don't know what he thought, but he was just like, okay. He literally said, whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever
Yeah,
floats your
that's
boat.
funny.
And so I'm like, all right, I don't think you get it, but all right, I'm not even going to try to go there. I told my mom, and I believe what she said was, you really think you can do that shit? Can I say that on?
Of course
Yeah,
you
you can say whatever on a podcast.
Brittany, you're already talking about vibrators. Come on.
I know.
Vibrators
we
and
weren't
shit,
we were
doing
like
the
2
dirty.
seconds.
If
you come to the show, that's what you'll get.
It's all good in the cancel hood.
That's right.
It's all right.
I love it.
Hey, what about your fans? And you do have fans. You know, your mom clearly was a fan to find out when you told her she was asking those questions. For lack of a better term, people swear by you, and they feel as if all they have to do is do a quick research on you, and people swear by you. They feel as if you've helped them connect with somebody that helps them get through whatever part of life that they're in at that time. I told you I'm not into it, but my God, watching Tabitha and Eric get readings and do readings and the feelings that it's given them, it's been remarkable. And I see the people, they swear by you and they go to their shows or they get readings by you. Hell, I ran into somebody somebody last night. I said, I've got Brittany Buckwalter coming in. He goes, Vic, my wife is going to see her.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I was like, okay, there. Case in point. How does it make you feel? Because I guarantee you don't live what most people would consider to be some comfortable life talking to spirits.
Right. I used to, well, first of all, I want to say how I get emotional when I talk about it, how unbelievably, incredibly grateful I am for each and every person that stepped in my life and every person that follows, because without them, I wouldn't be here. But also, I feel so much gratitude. It makes me tear up every time I think about my followers. Anyways, so life in the beginning, it wasn't quite as loud. Now that I've been doing it for, so many years, spirit's loud. And you're right, it's not quite as quiet and easy. Everywhere I go, I feel like I'm being asked to work. It's like I'm on salary, So like I might not be getting paid to do a reading, but while I'm in line at Walmart and I'm telling this lady that her dead sister is proud of her, it's like, all right, well, hopefully I'll get paid for that later. Maybe not. I don't know. Just do what I do. When it comes in, it comes out.
And it's therapeutic for some people,
Totally.
I mean, most people, have lost family members, some more than others. And I know Eric, he's not here. He lost his sister. And when he talked to Shannon Rock, I think it was very healing for him to be able to talk to someone that could sort of pass on messages. And, the way Eric explained it to me is, and the reason why he believed the reading was accurate is because they walked him through his sister's home very accurately, something that no one would know.
Right.
And I mean, it's such I think a awakening moment for so many people when they think, oh my gosh, you would never know this.
That's my favorite part about doing this. And I kind of feel weird saying this, but it's the truth. My favorite is to read men, to watch these big burly guys who come in like, this lady is a quack, and bring them to their knees. I'm like,
Vic, you're in
I get excited about that.
Yeah, like
Vic's very Catholic. He doesn't
I really portray myself as being some big tough strong. I've never done that. ever.
Not to those of us who know you're a big softie.
No. What can people expect when they get a reading with you?
Well, my sole mission when I'm reading someone is to first bring through the evidence, which is kind of what sets me apart from other mediums, because I'm an evidence-based medium, which means before I give you the message and I tell you what they really want to hear, or what you really want to hear and what they want to tell you, I've got to find out for sure that I have who I say I have. And I can't do that without first giving you a body of evidence. So I usually go through, 3 to 6 things in the beginning, male or female, what's the relationship, how did you pass, give me a number. And that's another thing that sets me apart from just about any other medium that I know, is that numbers are huge to me. So if you're going to come to my show, know your numbers. Because
what does that mean?
What that means is, so let's say I'm bringing up the number 5. 5 could have to do with the 5th month of the year, which would be May. So I might say, why am I seeing 5? Could it have to do with May? Was your loved one, did they pass in the month of May? Is their birthday in May? Those numbers really anchor me. And I just love to have 2 or 3 numbers before I even move on. You can't fight numbers. I mean, but I like to get into the nitty gritty stuff, the stuff that's not on Facebook, that's not in an obituary, to really prove who I have. So, things like what they collected, what they did for a living, something silly between the two of you. And I brought up everything from just the other day, it was a coin that a grandpa carried with a naked lady on each side. The tails was the butt and the top. And so that was really fun.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. And they actually buried him with that coin.
Aww.
So it was so cool to be like, yeah, he's still got that. He's still flipping that.
Are you able to sleep?
I was going to ask her that too. How does your brain shut off?
Gummies.
Yeah, well, you should try the Green Light Dispensary gummies.
There you go.
They're a sponsor of our show, and we have a Weed Wednesday every week.
What?
Yeah, we do a Weed Wednesday every week, and just educating men and women of all ages. I mean, what's there, how you could use this, maybe to do something that's more natural than the drug industry.
Yeah,
and then if you have problems sleeping, we'll check out these indica gummies that we have from Greenlight.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming people come to you when you're trying to sleep and talk to you and tell you things and probably try to tell you to find people and do different things, is what I assume.
Yeah, just last night I was, yes. I'm not even going to get into it and take your show in a whole nother direction, but yes, that happens often. And I never actually, until about 3 years ago, it was horrific. I didn't sleep at all. I had insomnia like you wouldn't believe. My doctor prescribed me 3 or 4 different medications, and all of them made me wake up feeling horrible. I mean, it was better to just not sleep. And then a nurse friend of mine said, you should really try gummies. And back in the day, I was known as like the weed Nazi. I'm like, no drugs are bad, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, okay, calling weed a drug is like calling shit a cuss word. It just does not, it's
Right.
not the same.
Yeah.
So, I've been getting sleep a lot better now, thanks to my indica gummies.
There you get the indica. We're talking with Brittany Buckwalter, and she is, as you see behind her, the small town psychic medium, also the uncensored medium. You can check out her website, BrittanyBuckwalter.com. Once again, BrittanyBuckwalter.com. I love what's on the front page of your website. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unbelievable.
Yep.
What exactly on your wrist is the eye that you have?
This is, it's just it's like twisting weird. This is my eye. Just, I actually got that over, I have a really weird condition called Keen's-Box disease where I had to have 3 bones removed because the blood doesn't flow to my bones. But anyway,
wow, I'd never even heard of that.
I know, nobody has. Guess what? It affects the lunate bone, the only bone in your body that is a moon shape.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Unreal.
Yeah, and it's extremely
No, that's
rare.
great information.
But I got that to cover up that scar, but I also always wanted it. But so it's just basically like, hey, you know more than you think, and remember that, because I'm just a human like everybody else, and a lot of times I'll get gosh, is this my psychic ability kicking in, or is this my ego? Is this
What do you say to detractors? When we had Shannon Rock on, we had a lot of listeners who feel that being a medium is very unchristian. It's against the Bible. And there are a lot of people who are going to say tomorrow, when we talk about this, they're going to say, well, those are just demons coming through.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that, but there are people who are always going to say that.
It was about 50-50 the last time we had.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
It was
fair to say.
Absolutely so. Most of the listeners are highly supportive, but some always have it. What do you say to those people? Because I know you have faced these questions before.
Oh, yeah. It breaks my heart, honestly. It really breaks my heart to think that someone would think that what I'm doing here is demonic. But I guess I should first let you know that I grew up Lutheran.
Yay, Lutherans.
My dad was very involved in our church. And I have St. Michael tattooed on my arm. And so Jesus is my homeboy. I love him. I believe in his story.
Jesus is my homeboy. That's great.
We've been getting really close lately. But I truly believe in my faith. And so I think it's important for me to say it, because a lot of psychics would say, well, no, I don't, and this is why. But I also feel that I'm a spiritualist as well. I connect with spirit. And my faith in God is not wavered one bit at all because of what I do or who I am.
It should be bolstered, because now like so many other people, that this life that we're living, this is not it.
Yep,
there is
you're right.
something more.
It's beautiful. This is my issue. So if we're not even talking about, people that believe this is demons, we're just talking about skeptics. Skepticism is totally healthy. You have to have skepticism. It's when you're cynical that it becomes an issue for me. When you refuse to even believe what somebody else is saying, you're just an asshole. So that is an issue. But if you're skeptical, I want you to be healthy and open and skeptical. With the Christian side of things, where I stand, and I don't really have the opportunity to tell people this a lot, but where I stand is, like I said, I believe in God. What I have a hard time with is the Bible. I have a hard time with worshiping a book that agrees with slavery and genocide and, beating your wife and bestiality, but vilifies psychics or prophets, which is exactly what Jesus was. So that's where my issue comes in. And there are many parts of scripture, in confirmation, I was given John 3:16. There are parts of the Bible that are beautiful, but I just look at the Bible as the Bible. That's exactly what it is.
Biblical scripture, I mean, you've already seen them. Know, there's countless verses not to consult with mediums. Right. That's where Christian faiths come in, and then people decide what they want to do or not. I told you, I treat any medium like I treat anybody else, with respect. I don't have to go get a reading,
right?
But I don't also have to like go out and rip you, just like you wouldn't rip me and not go out and do it. It's like, hey, I do what I do, you do what you do, from that standpoint.
And that's what I love about society. I love when people have that view.
Well, you should.
I love it. Exactly.
People tear down what they don't understand,
and that
or what they think they know, but they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where the problem occurs. And that's why the conversations need to be had, because don't you feel like truth will always at least
prevail.
Show itself?
Yeah.
But Vic, what about you personally? What would it take for you to be a big believer? Would you have to have
probably nothing, because of my belief in scripture, and that's where I stand. Because then, like, I could ask the question back to you: what's it going to take for you to actually follow scripture?
I like that.
So it's one of those things. I just feel like if you're led to it,
but what if you had this aha
you're
moment?
Going to go into it. Brittany could tell me I have so many people that want to talk to you, and I would not even open myself to it. So it wouldn't be fair to the skills that she has.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who says, I believe 100% more so than not that people have skills. They're gifted with these skills. And then it's almost, you may call it a blessing now, but I would almost feel like, could you imagine being you and having those experiences as kids? What the hell am I supposed to do? I'm standing in Walmart. Am I supposed to tell somebody or not? I'm just trying to relax and try to enjoy this human existence that I have. I don't feel like that's what makes me feel.
Well, yeah, because
oh my God, there are gifts there. Skills. My point stops where it's like, okay, there's gifts and there's skills, and thank you God that I don't have those gifts and skills.
It would have to be overwhelming.
But I'm not going to go overboard.
It's not at all like the Sixth Sense, and I think a lot of people really truly believe that that's how it is. Now, when I was a kid, I will say it was much more frightening. As an adult, there's a rapport and a respect there between me and spirit, and they know when I'm with my kids, I am off the clock. Stay away from me. I can think of maybe 5 times in the last 8 years that I have had to bring through spirit with my kids. And
how old are your children?
7 and 9.
Oh, do they know that mom's special?
Oh, they'd say special ed, but yes. When my son was 2, I'll never forget. We were laying in bed, and he said, "Mommy, who's that man over there?" And I couldn't see the man, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you know,
the
this
chill
is so,
factor.
yes. Oh,
I get the
totally.
chills
Yeah.
just now.
And then my daughter, when she was 4, my ex-husband was baking a pizza to bring home in his lunchroom at his work. He was going to surprise me because I love pizza, and wouldn't have to make dinner. So he threw a pizza in and finished cleaning up everything before he came home. And when he got home, he walked in the door, and my 4-year-old walked up to him, and she said, "Daddy, where's the pizza?" And he hadn't told me or anybody else that he was making a pizza. And he was like, "Oh my God, I left it in the oven." And so he could have burnt down his entire building had my psychic little 4-year-old not come in and said, "Where's the pizza?"
So the gift's been passed on.
I believe it has, which is kind of scary because I don't let her know that she knows so much.
Do you know any other moms and daughters or adults and their children that may have gifts like that?
I not closely or personally. I have a few students who they have the gift, and I think that they think, or their children do have the gift, but not closely.
Do you both talk to the spirits at the same time? Like, would they talk to you both?
London, my daughter, hasn't come to the mediumship realm, so I haven't seen her deal with that, but she is probably the most brilliant psychic I've ever seen. I mean,
and not saying something after you've had this your entire life.
Well, just the other night, we were laying in bed upstairs in her room, and she said, "Mommy, I just closed my eyes and I saw a big glass falling down the stairs." And I thought that was weird. I got up to get another glass of wine, so I had to go downstairs. And one of the kids had put one of my glass cylinders that had like fancy stuff in it on the step. I kicked it and it exploded. And so that was the glass that she saw break. Yeah. And I didn't even know it was there. It's dark, So yeah, she's gonna give me a run for my money.
Do you ever deal with a situation where you're walking and you walk in somewhere, or you meet new people and you get things quickly, immediately, things that you want to say, maybe things that you're not supposed to say, and then you're just left going, "What do I do here?"
Exactly, all the time.
Or even things that may not be so great.
Yeah. I mean, I was working as a waitress, and this was before I found out that I was a psychic or a medium, but I was sitting next to one of the other waitresses after a long night, and her grandfather had come through, and he had told me that he was sorry for molesting her.
Ooh.
And I mean, I'd worked there for like 3 days, and I'm like, "Oh my God, do I tell this girl that he's sorry?" I eventually ended up telling her, and she's like, "Oh my God, how did you know?" Like, I don't know. But yeah.
Did that give her peace that he was sorry?
Yes. She said that it gave her peace that he was on the other side still feeling bad.
I can understand that one.
No,
yeah. So I'm like, oh, well, whatever, as long as it helps.
But that whenever you say that makes me question. I'm always questioning. I absolutely 100% believe there is more to this life.
Mm-hmm.
There is more after this life, where energy and our energy continues on in some capacity. But then you also wonder, well, someone like that who was a molester, who knows what he did to his granddaughter, they make it to the other side too. So he's not in hell. He's
but we don't.
all the other
but
people
we
are.
don't know. That's just it.
Can he communicate from hell?
But how do we know where that spirit is communicating from?
Well, I've done, oh my gosh, probably 7,000 readings. I have never ever had a spirit walk up to me and say, "Hi, I'm Joe from hell."
Yeah.
And I've never seen like flames or anything like that. I've worked on previous projects where I had to communicate with serial killers, and they come through just like your mom or your dad would. So for me, there's no different, it's I can only give you my philosophy, and that's based on what I've experienced. And so far, what I've experienced is there's one afterlife. I had a lady ask me to come in one time, just randomly. She owned a place called Carlock's Cars in Hannibal. And she said, "I found out what you did." She sent me a message on Facebook. She said, "I was wondering if you would come in and talk with me." And I thought, this is bizarre. I thought she was just trying to get a free reading or something, which whatever, So I go in, she shows me to her office, and I sit down, and she said, "Brittany, where do you think Hitler went when he died?" And I'm like, "Hell?" And she said, "No, he was sent here to show us what evil is. If he wouldn't have been here, we wouldn't know right from wrong." She said, "He gave up his soul to show us what pure evil was." so that we would know in humanity, as humanity, how to act and how not to act. And that was literally the only reason she brought me there. And I truly feel to this day that was something that I was supposed to internalize. And it just made such an impact on me because, to be honest, like I said, I've never had anybody come through and say they're from hell.
I get the line of thinking in her mind.
Yeah.
I get
Well, I get
she's
the line
coming
too.
from.
Line of thinking.
But if you also study evil, and if you believe anything with scripture, the devil doesn't come as something evil and
That's
nasty.
right.
It comes
As
as
everything you
something
want.
that you want,
Mhm.
which leads me into the question, do you ever think for maybe critics that may say, well, how do you know, or people who are inquisitive or just curious, how do you know you're not speaking with demons?
Before I tell you that, I do have to say one thing. If that were I want nothing to do with the devil. I don't even.
You've made that clear, I think.
The
Yeah, you
fact
did.
that that's in my mouth and just I even said that word makes me sick. I don't even like to talk about anything evil, to be honest with you. I'm a big wuss. I'm like, if that's real
Yeah.
and you want to believe in it, you go right ahead. But I'm over here in La La Land, and that doesn't exist over here. And so if the devil is going to appear in things that I want, well, he sure has been giving all of us a lot. He gave you your wife. He gave you your husband. He gave you nope. I'm not going to believe that there's evil in anything good. But like I said, I've never communicated with anything dark to my knowledge. And there was this another reason why I got Archangel Michael tattooed on me with the cross, because I'm like, I just want to mark myself
I
now.
do love that.
I wondered
but
if that's why you had that.
Yeah,
I can see why you did that.
I'm not effing around. I'm not letting anything darken over here.
And Shannon Rock, when we talked to her, she said the same thing. As a matter of fact, she said at no
Did she
point-
have it? She had a
No,
Michael the Archangel
no, she
tattoo?
didn't.
Oh.
But she said no dark spirit had ever, approach her, or talk to her, or anything. It was always positive and light and things like that.
And I know people that have had that happen. In fact, one of my best friends, that's what she does. She removes attachments. So when we get together, it's like, I don't want to hear anything about what you did at work. Let's just hang out because it's terrifying. But yeah, I know a lot of people who have dealt with that. I get all kinds of messages throughout the year. Hey, I think somebody has an attachment. Can you help us with that? No,
What's an
call a
attachment?
priest. Something dark, demonic is what I would assume. I won't even educate I'm just,
Try to keep it out of your mind.
Mm-hmm,
But you do believe evil exists.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because
So
if you
without
say
saying it,
yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
Because I'm just like,
I
if
get
you
it.
say it and you think about it and you let it in, that's why whenever we talk about scary stories, sometimes outside of the show, I try not to even talk about it. I don't even want to.
You don't want to let it in
my head.
Yeah. I one time went to this metaphysical fair, and it was right after I'd found out I was a psychic medium. And I saw somebody doing something called Reiki, which I don't know a whole lot about. But I thought, I'm going to try this. I've heard there's some really great healing properties to this. So I gave the lady my $25 and I sat down in the seat, and she came behind me. She said, I can't touch you. I said, why? She said, the biggest angel I have ever seen in my life is standing over you. I will not be able to break that barrier.
Wow.
And I'm like,
yeah, that's that's
okay.
the chill factor.
Then I'm like, can I get my money back?
Right.
Yeah. Is Reiki like yoga?
No, I don't know. It's not like yoga.
it's
But
not
It
like
involves
yoga.
stones. Vic and I
Yes.
know somebody who practices it.
Yes.
it's a form of holistic healing, and without having to touch you. So kind of like EFT or what is the acupuncture without the needles?
Okay.
Is what I've been told.
Got it.
But I am not a specialist and I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to have our friend come in.
Yeah.
Who practices.
We're talking with Brittany Buckwalter. She has a show tomorrow, Saturday, over at the Funny Bone St. Charles. Unfortunately, it may all be sold out. You may be able to look somewhere and get some tickets. And if not tomorrow, look her up. Does your website have future shows listed yet? Or
Actually, if you follow me on events.com, if you go on there and follow me, you'll be the first to be alerted for everything.
that time goes by so fast as we're learning, and our audience is very captivated by you too.
Oh, cool.
What you talked a little bit about earlier, but if somebody wants to try this out, or like something's bugging them and they really want to see if there's something for them,
like a private reading.
Yeah, I could probably even though I wasn't crazy about it, If they wanted to get in contact with you, how can you help them?
So I'm actually booked for the rest of the year.
That's a pretty
for you.
Wow.
But as of right now, my messaging system is open. It will be turned off soon because I can't keep up with it all. But you can message me. We can get you set up should there be a cancellation or something like that. But if you don't get in with me, I would just like for you to make sure that when you set up a reading with a psychic, please check to make sure that they have a website, first of all, because if they're paying, $12.99, $20 a month or whatever for a decent website, they're putting effort into their ability and they believe in it. Second, check them out on Facebook, read their reviews, make sure before you give them money that that they are legit, because just like swindling doctors and lawyers, there are swindling mediums and psychics. So just make sure you check them out. That's what I would recommend.
Tabitha, anything else?
I hope we get to have you come back sometime.
Yeah.
Because I there's so many questions to ask and never enough time to ask them, because it's so fascinating to me. The aspect
We've
of,
been talking for almost 30 minutes.
know, but it's just overwhelming to me, because just the aspect, like I said, it has to be overwhelming to you because you can't help everybody.
That is the hardest part.
And people come through to you on both sides. People who want help, people on the other side who want you to give messages and pass along. All I'm sitting here thinking about is how overwhelmed you are.
Yeah. I take a really good antidepressant. So I have a great doctor.
Yeah.
That was a joke. So my boyfriend would say the same thing. He's just like, every day, at least once a day, he's like, you are so overwhelmed. I'm so sorry about how overwhelmed you are. But I mean, you get used to it. Your body.
But think about how many people on the other side, if you believe it, are trying to reach out all at once. They all have messages.
I have
all
6
want to
people
talk
right now. 6.
That's why.
What does that mean?
It means I have 6 spirits that are interested in speaking right now with you.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, it's
Okay, so is it anybody in this room
Yeah.
that is doing that? Is it a male or a female that they're reaching out to?
well. I know that we don't have a whole lot of time, and so I don't want to get started on something. And
No, we have time for that. We do.
I have.
I just don't want to hear if all 6 are for me.
And they probably are.
She's knocking them all off right now.
Well, if it is for you, you got to at least tell me. I do want to say though, on that, before I do anything like that, a lot of people will be like, how come you can get, what my dead grandma said last night to me in my mind, but you can't get the lottery numbers? That is like, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that shit, I would not be here.
Yeah,
You would
it's
need the
kinda-
lottery.
Right.
That's
You'd be living your
self-serving.
best life.
I would be on a beach.
That's just wrong. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but people do it all the time. But to me, that would be like saying to a teller, well, how come you don't just take all the money in the vault and run? Why are you just okay with your $15 an hour? Because there's a reason. There's a reason that we don't do things. There's a method behind why Spirit is making sure that we only get, the very limited amount of information that we get. There's a reason that we have to work for what we work for, because if we didn't, they wouldn't have someone speaking for them. So there is a female coming through. She's mother or grandmother-like. She keeps bringing up the hope sign, which is usually Cancer for me. And it's really weird because she showed me the 21st and then she showed me April. So there's going to be, these are probably two different things. So like the 4th of a month or April, the 21st, or the age 21, something with 21, there's some connection there. And then she keeps showing me Colorado. So I don't know if somebody's planning a trip there or if they recently went there, or I love looking at Vic because he's like, nope.
No, I mean,
nope.
I'm thinking.
Well, you always try to think, and it's funny you say that. And I'm not saying it necessarily relates to me, because 21 and April does not. But one time I had a dream about my grandmother, and in my dream, she came to me, and I'm like, Grandma, where have you been? We've been looking for signs of you. And she said, I've been in Colorado. And we kind of laughed because we're like, that's so weird, because my grandma never talked about going to Colorado. But it was so weird in the dream that she's like, oh, I've been in Colorado. Now I'm back. I'm like, that was so weird.
Okay. So this is your grandma, without a doubt. And she's definitely
Jill.
confirming. She's definitely
Out in the waiting room.
she's definitely confirming for you that that dream was real. She did come to you.
I believe in that stuff. I think people come to you in your dreams. I really do.
I wish they would come to me.
Vic's looking at me like, yeah, right.
No, I'm taking it all in.
I don't ever. I've never. Maybe one time had a dream about a loved one, but
Isn't that something I do all the time?
Do you have any connect? Do you know for sure if she had a slow passing? So this wouldn't be instant. It wouldn't be like fell down the stairs and broke a hip. It would be like,
well, she was 91 years old.
Okay, there were two different factors leading up to her passing. So
yeah, I mean, if it's my grandma, she was 91 years old. She lived a very good, healthy life. But during COVID, things got a little crazy. And my mom had to have surgery, and we couldn't take care of her because she was starting to get a little bit of dementia.
Oh yeah, okay.
And she ended up being in a nursing home, but it was just old age, I guess you could say. I would consider that slow passing.
Yeah,
sure.
And there's probably two different factors with her passing. We won't get into that, but somebody has cancer or is going to get it or battled it and then was healed. Does that
her husband had cancer? He had bladder cancer and prostate cancer. I think it started bladder and it traveled. But
he's on the other side.
Yes, okay. And he did heal though. But
this isn't. Oh, it's not for him though. This is for a female.
Oh yeah, I don't.
And I think it's breast. So, just. I
hope it's not me. I need my boobs.
Go get them slammed. I would go get them checked.
I need both of them. I need both of them, God.
No, okay. I don't. I'm not 100% for sure exactly where that.
But you know what? But sometimes things come through, and then 2 months later, it's like, oh,
you're exactly right.
Oh,
yep,
I remember what happened.
And yeah, so you
time to get a mammogram, ladies.
Yep, you can say, no, that couldn't have happened or can't be real, and then 2 months later, when it happens, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's still alive today. Yeah.
And Jill is out our salesperson, Jill is out in the Carroll House lounge asking if that person is still alive or not.
Yeah, I believe that the person who has breast cancer or a chest cancer, so this could be lungs as well, is still alive.
I think you're talking about my mom.
Oh, really?
I do. Like the way you're explaining, but who's communicating with you?
See, that's the thing is,
if you talk, Jill, go get closer to the mic.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Is she still battling it right now?
Yes.
Okay. So there would be a male figure that comes through with that information. So there's actually two males that come through with that information that aren't related to your grandmother. So, yeah. And I feel like this is father and grandfather or father, there's like, they're showing me the number 2.
So definitely her dad, my grandpa. And is it, I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, I know there could be some younger ones too, but
do you know where she's at with her diagnosis?
She has incurable stage 4 lung cancer. She has an extremely rare mutation. She was put on it was a just out of the trials kind of drug that was supposed to prolong her life for 12 months. And knock on wood, she's about at 40 months since that happening. She's had a third of her lung removed. She has a tumor that butts up against her heart that they can't do anything with.
So the reason that I asked that is because death is between you and God. I am not allowed to intermingle with when someone will pass. But I will tell you that I felt that by her father saying over and over again, "I'll be here, I'm with her. I'll be here, I'm with her," tells me that
it's okay.
Yeah. So he also says to say happy birthday. So
the number 2, she was born in February.
Perfect. Yeah.
Aw.
So that would be
that's so sweet.
Who he wanted to. Yeah. But I don't know who this birthday is for. But
my mom is February.
Yeah. No. But there's a birthday like that just happened or that will be happening.
Oh. Where are we? We're May. I mean, like I have a huge family.
Okay. You'll figure it out when you get off of here.
What's the number or whatever?
18th.
The 18th. Let me think about it. Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Numbers are hard. I call it psychic amnesia when you're in the audience and you're in front of like 300 people and you get a microphone
No
in your
doubt.
mouth.
Oh no,
Right.
You're
Yeah.
like,
That happens
about the
on anything in life. When
Yep.
you get a microphone.
Absolutely.
yeah.
in your
And so
mouth.
it's like really, it sucks for psychics because we're
Well, and
standing up there
especially-
like,
yeah. And numbers are hard because they can be things that are not at the top of your mind.
mhm.
Like if you ask me right now when my grandma's birthday is, it's like I know, but I would really have to think about it.
Okay, so wait a minute. My mom's mom just turned 90 on the 18th of March.
Perfect. Okay, so just tell her happy birthday. I think that there was probably some cheating or an alcohol issue, something along those lines.
With him?
Yeah,
So it never seemed like that, but you know how when you're growing up, your grandpa always has a beer in his hand?
yeah.
And I think that, there was probably some like
Mhm.
aftermath of that. at
Well, the
home.
reason that I say that is because he says I'm sorry with the happy birthday.
Aw.
So you might just tell her happy birthday. Also, I'm sorry. And it's kind of funny because I get the feeling that he's like, can you go apologize to her so that when she does get over here, we can like hang out again?
Hey, Jill, and didn't you tell me that your mom was the one that was absolutely did not want you to do this today?
She is watching my kids, and up until midnight, we argued last night because she didn't want to watch them to condone me coming here.
Isn't that ironic?
It is. Maybe that's why the message is coming through so clear.
Uh-huh.
It's a message to your mom.
Absolutely.
And we will definitely bring you back
Oh,
if you want to.
Cool. Yeah.
And I mean, we could talk to you for an hour. We really could.
Yes, many hours.
So interesting.
We have people that are having to get other places right now that are working on the show. But we didn't expect to go this long, which
I'm
was
sorry.
No, this was great. We could keep going on and on and on. This is wonderful.
And with that, but with that being said, people can, if this is what's for them, if this is their cup of tea, if this is what they want. Obviously, you have a show tomorrow. It may be sold out, and for people can still try to get tickets, but they can go to your website at BrittanyBuckwalter.com.
.com. I don't have my tickets listed on there right now, but if you go to eventbrite.com
Yeah,
and
and
search up
Eventbrite.
my name and follow me, you'll be alerted. You'll get emails anytime there's something coming up.
Brittany, we appreciate the time with you today. Thank you for being willing to come in and see that just because it's not for me, that we are respectful and we're respectful of everybody and we try to learn. I've always felt that if you don't know about something or learn about it, then you can decide what you want to do, but show respect always.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm the same way. Yep.
And we appreciate you, Brittany. Have
was
an
an
awesome
honor.
weekend. Thanks for coming into
Thank
the
you.
Cancel
Thank
This
you. Thank you.
studio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brittany Buckwalter.
Thank you.
And so there you have it, guys. We're back coming in and we hear something, Joe.
I think we still hear the interview
I think
in the
we hear
background.
the recording maybe.
Yeah,
there
there
we
it
go. We
goes.
stopped that. So we appreciate everybody jumping in with us. So there you have it from the medium standpoint. Regardless of your feelings on where it is on Fridays, we do a little off the wall, whatever it is that we're trying to do when it comes to whatever the topics may be. We're going to continue to try to come up with different topics as well.
I was reading the comments. You guys are brutal.
Why do you say they were brutal?
Well,
You mean because they don't agree with you?
No. And it has nothing to do with me.
What do you-
I'm not the medium.
Okay. Well, what do you mean then?
I'm just saying that the comments were brutal.
But okay. But if we say that, what is brutal though?
Well, I think.
I mean, if there's specific examples, I was like,
and it's like I brought up to Brittany yesterday.
I brought up the comments and I didn't think
it's
they were
a
brutal,
very-
but maybe I'll keep an open mind to.
It's a very sensitive topic for a lot of people because there's a lot of people who believe that having this ability to, a lot of people, for one, don't think it's real. And then there are people who think it's real, but they think it's demonic spirits that are coming through and not your loved ones. And I understand that perception. A lot of people just have a lot of different, very strong views when it comes to psychics. And for me,
then you shouldn't be surprised then if somebody disagrees.
Oh, I totally expected the comments that I've seen on the comment line. I 100% expected it. And that's why when we had Brittany in, I asked her about the whole demon aspect, as we also asked Shannon Rock when she was on with us, the medium.
I don't think you're going to find mediums that say, yes, I deal with demonic spirits.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
that would
most
not be a
wouldn't.
good selling point. But this is the catch-22 for me with a lot of things in life. And it's as easy as things are in life. They're not. You're given a gift and you know something's different. You just don't, I'm telling you, as I told her, most of the time, you know that something's different. You're not making this stuff up. okay, so I have this gift. What do I do with it? And I notice things about people. If you listen to scripture, you leave it dormant. And then I can only imagine the inner battle and how hard that is and the peace or lack of peace that's there. Paul says real mediums will not change money. They'll want to help people for free.
And Glenn, I asked if it was heaven, purgatory, and I don't guess anyone knows, because I asked, okay, well, we have evil people with good people, that can communicate with Brittany. And so obviously, are they in the same place? I mean, all we can do is speculate. We don't know.
Yeah.
But if you believe that there's I absolutely 100% believe there is more to life than what we experience.
Well, yeah, but you don't need a
here
medium.
In these lives.
But you don't need a medium to show you that.
No, I agree. And I've never went to a medium. I've never had, other than Shannon Rock, which we did as part of the show. I've never talked to a psychic or been in any part of any of these types of discussions. However, I do think it's interesting that some people will be very spot on. And I'm always thinking, well, how would they know that? How are they so spot on? There has to be something to it because, they use psychics a lot of times and mediums when it comes to solving crimes. And some of them have been absolutely correct. And further than I think
some
it would
have
be a guess.
And some haven't.
And most have not. But the fact is even if there's only 1 out of 100 that has been correct, is it a guess? Are they really getting this message? And I also do agree with Brittany that we all have this ability to use our brains in different ways, use our energy in different ways.
Could it be titled intuition?
It could be, because we all know people have premonitions all the time. We have deja vu. How do you explain deja vu? Yeah. I mean, to me, this goes along with all of those other things that we're capable of so much more than we know. We just don't know how to harness it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just didn't know. You get ripped, I get ripped. Eric gets ripped. Lizzie never gets ripped.
I get ripped. I do.
But I didn't think the comments against it were brutal. Most of the comments that I saw were faith-based comments, scripturally based comments. So that's why I asked you the question in the first place, to have good quality discussion where you go back and forth and all around. And I'm, like I said, I'll talk, and Brittany does what she wants to do. And
well, absolutely. And that's why I kind of wish that we would have had live comments then, because I was trying to think of what will listeners say? What will they ask her?
Well, stop saying you wish you had this and wish you had that. Brittany can never have, she couldn't do anything live.
Oh, I understand.
And we do what we do, but I don't really think there was any, she explained everything in great detail.
Yes, she did.
47 freaking minutes. There was nothing more I think she could have explained. I got her.
I agree. And I think we asked all the most pertinent questions.
And I know what she's about. And Glenn says,
I think people are afraid of them too, because as Christians, they believe there's just a heaven and a hell. Some Catholics believe there's a purgatory, and they just think that this realm of a medium is bringing in something that isn't necessarily God. And since scripture talks about it, that's what I got off the chat line, is that people were leery to even dive into it.
And I get it, but it's not like it's a Ouija board. For me personally,
I believe it is.
See, and that's why I said everybody's so divided, and people who are divided usually have such strong beliefs. I do not believe for 1 minute that it's demons talking to Brittany or any other psychic mediums. I'm not saying it can't be demons, because she said that herself, that there are people she knows.
So which are you saying
that do deal with demonic spirits?
So
I really do.
Is it demons or not, or can demons go?
I think it's both. I think that people can hear messages from your loved ones, and I think people can hear messages from demons. And I also understand Vic, I completely understand.
That's swimming with sharks.
It is. And I completely understand that what so many people say, that demons want you to think that it's your mother or your brother or your family. But it's all just speculation. We don't know. We just don't know.
The only thing that I see when I look at the whole matter is scripture telling us to stay away. And the only other thing, and I was trying to be respectful, the Bible is not all about bestiality. The Bible is not all about slavery. You've got to take things in context, and you also look at New Testament. It's just sometimes you can't just take one thing from one part of time and say, well, I'm not going to do it because of that.
Right.
That means you have to eliminate. if you say you don't believe in the God, then you can't put a tattoo on yourself of St. Michael the Archangel.
She did say she believed in God.
No, but here's the problem. What does believe mean? And this is the issue. You can say, well, I believe in this and I believe that, but I don't believe in God's word.
Right. I'm with you, Vic. I
can't-
believe
that's
that
the
the
pro-
Bible
I
is
don't think she
100% true.
Yeah, I don't think the parallels. And I really like her as a person, but the parallel
too.
there, I'm
But
like,
there's a lot of people.
you can't say, I believe in God, but I don't believe in the Bible.
There's a lot of people out there who believe the Bible was written and rewritten and over the many centuries that it was changed.
Yeah,
and
it
what it
doesn't-
says now isn't what maybe it originally said.
Oh, no, it's
Or what was the intent of the people who wrote it.
Yeah, but it's God-inspired word, and you can't just say, well, I'm not going to listen to the Bible. Well, what are you going to, it's the cafeteria mentality. Well, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take that. You can't, unfortunately. And that's where that's the only aspect that she lost me with, but I wanted to be respectful of her and give her chance to talk about who she is and what she was yesterday. And that's kind of where the whole situation came. But once again, it's always, I mean, it's a talker. It's a talker for sure. And
I just try to live by the golden rule and not commit any sin. And I just leave it at that.
Try. I know.
Try.
So we don't have time to get into all of that, but we're grateful for those of you who stayed with us, watched today, jumped in to the conversations as well. It's Memorial Day weekend. We hope you guys have a blast. We love what we're doing here at Cancel This. Please check out our partners, all the partners page if you get a chance. If you need any products, if you need any goods, check out, see if there's anything that our partners provide, or at least you can check out, let them know you heard about them on Cancel This. That helps us out, helps us continue to do what we're trying to do. That's for sure. You can always donate as well, canceltheshow.com. If you're on a laptop, you can click on the menu, or you can do it by a cell phone and you go to menu and it's right there as well. We appreciate that. We're catching up with everybody else who's jumping on the show. Monday, we're going to do an AI show. We will not be in the studio. We'll have the day off. We'll be back Tuesday. We have an amazing cardiologist coming in. I do want to talk to him about myocarditis.
Absolutely.
I mean,
so.
And it's a segment we're looking at starting and doing more.
I love it.
With this cardiologist about
That's
what's
great.
happening with health and a variety of topics.
Will he be in studio?
He'll be live in studio.
Just in
with
case
us.
I need him. I might need him.
That's not even
Any
fun.
one of us at any point.
Now you sound like Joe. So come on, pro Joe. We don't need
Pro Joe and Tab needing the doctor.
So everybody have an awesome weekend. We appreciate you. Whatever you're doing, be safe. Anything else to remind people of?
Other than to have a good weekend.
Yes. And remember what the weekend is about.
Exactly.
As we're barbecuing, remember those that died for our freedoms. We wouldn't have this weekend and we wouldn't be free without them.
Isn't that the truth?
Well said. Guys, have a great day. It's cancelthisshow.com. That does it for this May 26th podcast. For Pro Joe, Lizzie Sparks, and Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust. We'll talk to you later.